You are listening to Atea eTalks, the podcast where we explore the technologies, solutions and partnerships shaping the digital future. In today's episode, we're joined by Alexander Ojanen from HPE and Atea's own Thomas Stenholm for a deep dive into the evolution of servers, the power of modern data center solutions, and the trends driving hybrid IT and AI. You don't want to miss this.
Hi and welcome to Atea eTalks. My name is Peter Hadenius and together with me today is Alexander Ojanen from HPE, Category Manager.
Yes, indeed.
And our famous Thomas Stenholm from Atea, Partner Manager.
Thank you.
Very welcome today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Tell us a little about the story about HPE. We know some of it, but please.
Almost 10 years ago to the day for which we're recording this, is that they decided to split the company. So HP, Hewlett-Packard, was split into two separate companies. So one continued to be HP, Hewlett-Packard, and they are doing laptops, printers, monitors. I mean, they're doing loads of stuff, but stuff that are kind of what you and I use every day, like things we touch and interact with. Whereas the other side, from which I'm coming or working at, is Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And it's quite similar in names, or very similar. So if you say the short name, HP and HPE.
And then Thomas, from a Atea perspective, we have a long relationship with HPE.
Yeah. So both HP and HPE, of course, due to the split of the company 10 years ago. So Atea has worked with HPE for as long as I can remember. Both Compaq and HPE at the start, and when the company was combined one company. So it's a long history of business together.
And we just don't sell the hardware. We have everything around it, like services and consultants and everything.
Services, consultants, build solution based on HPE products, of course.
It's a huge business for Atea.
Yes, it is. Yes.
One of the biggest one. But like Atea, there's been a lot of acquisitions for HPE during the years.
Definitely. So, I mean, one of the, I would say, best things with the split was that before we were this massive company doing all kinds of stuff. It was like handheld devices, PCs, printers, monitors. And then we also did the servers, the storage, the networking, everything. So there was always a internal competition about where we're going to invest. What is the next company we're going to acquire? Where are we going to put our investments for engineering and new products? Is it going to be the end user kind of stuff or the data center? So after the split, I mean, we only focus on the data center, building the best hardware, the best software actually, and also of course the services that you mentioned. So building the best platforms for the data center. And that of course involves or includes that we made many acquisitions. So during these 10 years, it's actually more than 20 acquisitions and more than 50 investment in different companies that we collaborate with. And some of the very interesting one, at least I think, I mean, we can't mention them all, but Cray is one of them. It was, I think it's back 2019 somewhere.
And what do they do?
So they are one of the biggest players when it comes to building these supercomputers. Sometimes you hear about them in the news. So these really massive, it's actually buildings full with servers and performance and compute power to solve all kinds of problems in the world. So they're really big on that. So actually, I think it's 7 out of the 10 biggest exascale computers. It was really what they call it.
I think you, Thomas, mentioned the name for the biggest one.
Yeah.
So the biggest one is El Capitan.
They always have these cool names. I mean, that's a must. So I think 7 out of the 10 largest one in the world come from HP. I mean, that is in large thanks to the acquisition of Cray, and number position 1, 2, and 3 also from HP. So that is one very exciting one. And then we also had OpsRamp quite recent, like 2 years ago. So that's actually a software. So I mean, many think of us as a hardware company. I mean, and that is our foundation, no doubt about it. And we're continuing investing and doing hardware.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the hardware later.
Oh, yes, we will. But the software is equally important.
Like virtual
actually.
machines then?
Yeah, no, OpsRamp is about the monitoring and the ticket handling and troubleshooting of your system. And then we also acquired another software company called Morpheus Data. That's on the virtualization part, a very exciting one. I mean, maybe let's go back into that a little bit later in the discussion. And the most recent one is Juniper Networks, which is also a huge one. It took over a year from when they published the intention to acquire Juniper Network until it was actually like finalized and approved everywhere. So today...
and Juniper is built around also wireless
networking,
access. Networking, yes.
Wireless, but maybe even more so the wired stuff and the really big ones like you find in the telcos and all the ones that provide internet, you could say. Like they are a big player in that.
And it's all with HPE around the Proliant name.
Yes. I mean, that is what I work with every day. So, I mean, I love Proliant. And it's been around for over 30 years, as we mentioned. Like,
and I like that it's been the same name for ever. DL 380, 360.
Yes, you know the names.
I know the names.
There are some new ones as well.
Yeah.
But during these 30 years, there's been a lot of engineering, of course, and investments in building the best servers in the market. I think one thing that really stands out in HPE, that's at its core, HPE is an engineering company. That means that we're constantly trying new things, different things, trying to do things better. Many times it works, sometimes it doesn't. So internal at HPE, there's always new stuff flying around, like new ideas, new things that might be coming. And of course, a lot of that is focused around Proliant.
Yeah.
So, Alexander, I have a question for you. There are a lot of server vendors out there on the market. You know them all. We know them all. We work with them all. So why should a customer choose a Proliant server if you compare it to others?
That's a good question. I mean, if you look at the components that go into the server, the CPU, the memory, the drives, I mean, they're all the same. Like every vendor uses the same more or less because, I mean, you have the big manufacturer of those components. If it's Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Samsung, and so on. But what we do at HPE and why customers choose HPE Proliant is number one, security. So, I mean, we're investing a lot in security, in hardware security, and having the most secure server in the market. And we have different like external certifications and validations of that really says that we at HPE are pushing the boundaries for what should a customer expect when it comes to security in the server. And of course, I mean, performance, yes, we have the same components, but there are some finer details in how you design these chassis and how you cool them. I mean, it's not massive differences. It can be a percentage or a couple percentage of what you can get out of that system. But if you have several systems, that single or triple percentage could become quite significant. But I would say like the most like hands-on and what I hear from customer is the management of the server. So if you've ever come in contact with a Proliant server, you probably know the name ILO. It stands for Integrated Lights Out. It's a little server that is built inside the big server. So what that means is that you can manage that server remotely. Even if it's powered off, if something is broken in it, you can connect to it and you can troubleshoot it, you can update it. But of course, today customers have many servers, so you don't want to connect to every single server and check, is it okay? Okay, I need to do some update. Let's do some updates. I mean, that's going to take a lot of time. So what we are doing is that we're building a tool. I mean, these tools have existed for a long time, but we have a new tool that is living in our private cloud, which is called HPE Compute Ops Management. So with that tool, you can very easily manage all of your servers, see how are they performing, is anything broken, we can automatically open a ticket to get that resolved, and also, of course, do these updates. Because when it comes to security, the most important thing you can do to protect yourself, and this is for servers, for our phones, for your laptop,
laptops and
that is
everything.
doing updates. And we all know this, but we're not doing it in time all of the time because it takes so much time. And that is the limiting resource. So what we are doing is updates faster, simpler, and more secure with this new tool.
Yeah.
And most recently, we have our yearly HP Discover event, which is like big unveiling on new things. This tool now support third-party servers. So we actually encourage you to connect your Lenovo, Dell, or any other brand of server to our tool to manage them from there. Because when I'm out meeting with customers, the number one feedback I get is when they look at this tool is, okay, yeah, I mean, other vendors have similar tools, they do similar things, but your tool is way simpler, way more intuitive. And I mean, that is in end going to save them time, and it's going to eliminate or at least minimize human mistakes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say those are the three main things. And I'm, of course, also the partnership with Atea. I mean, we are a partner-driven company, and Atea is a big partner for us. So having that collaboration and expertise in implementing these servers, I mean, that is the secret sauce, I would say.
The music to our ears.
Yeah, so for Atea side, so Compute Ops Management is really good for our consultants as well. If a customer needs help with their environment, they can give our consultants a login to their systems that they can maintain and handle all the structures within the servers. So we can update them and do everything remotely. But of course, our consultants want to come out to the customer, of course, to meet them. So,
but it's time efficiency.
Time efficiency, yeah.
And really good. Pro tip. Update everything.
And always look at what is the simplest way of doing this, so it gets done in time.
Super. Okay. From a Atea perspective, Thomas, what is the most popular server at Atea?
So from the Proliant servers, family, so I would say it's 2U rack server from DL380. So it's at the time now we are on generation 12. So I would say that's the most popular one. It's more or less an ecosystem of products you can add on to that server. It's a solid ground for the data centers for every customer that we have, I would say.
And maybe I'm old school now, but back in the days, we talked about RAID 1, 2, 3, or 5, or 1, 3, and 5 was the most popular ones. And they were talking about, should we go to the cloud, or should we be at the, have the server back in the cellar again? Do you have any thoughts about, Thomas, what's the trend right now, how you will manage your servers?
So if you look at the market today, so the server market and storage market is growing. Of course, cloud is growing as well, but we see a huge demand of on-prem solutions today. People moving back there from cloud back to their own data centers. So combining storage, local storage, and local server is the way to go in the future, I would say.
Yeah, the future is probably going to be hybrid. So, I mean, both worlds going to exist, but definitely I also see the clear trend towards taking your data and put it local so you have control over it. Because, I mean, you know, the world today, it's
we talked about closed system
crazy
before.
So you always want to make sure that you have that access to your applications and data because your business rely on it. Before, maybe you could run your business without this technological stuff and the IT stuff. But if that stops today, you're not making any money. You're not serving your customers.
Security risk and everything. We mentioned some of it before when we talked about the race. Also, in the notebook area or notebook times, we have Copilot Plus nowadays. But what's the new technology within servers?
There's, of course, like with every generation, as you mentioned, Thomas, we're generation 12 now. Of course, with every generation, you get more performance. They consume also more power. So there's a lot of focus and emphasis on cooling and being efficient. And of course, as you mentioned, security. I mean, security, it's on every level. It's not only like, for us it's hardware, of course. We want to make the most secure hardware, which I think we do. Just to mention a few things, like we were pioneering in the firmware validation in the server back in 2017 with the technology that's called Silicon Root of Trust. And we were actually first to do that. Of course, like as we've been with many things, I would say, the market follows, which is good because we want everyone to be secure. And most recently, there's a lot of focus on these quantum computers. They talk about some in the media, that when they are readily available, they will hack everything and nothing is secure. So the kind of cryptographic standards that we use in the service, we have updated to be what they call post-quantum ready. So this is more or less a standard that is set by the US government, which they will require their federal agencies and government functions to, when they buy servers in 2 or 3 years, the servers need to fulfill these requirements because they need to be ready for when, because I mean, this is a war that is happening more or less online. So you need to protect yourself. And also when it comes to FIPS, Proliant were the first one to have the level 3
we need
certification.
like to have a short explanation and down below to explain all these words.
Yes, but you could say FIPS is also around the cryptographic standard, like how you secure your server. So
it's funny we mentioned about that, Thomas. You talked about the cooling and the power generated by these servers.
Yeah. So the big servers, they consume a lot of power, of course. So you need to scale the servers after the demand of the customer. You need to utilize all the servers, because if you have servers that doesn't do what they should do, they consume a lot of energy. And like the AI, we need to mention AI in this one as well. So
everybody's mentioning AI.
Everybody's mentioning AI. Of course, it's consuming a lot of energy. Our job at Atea, of course, is to help our customers scale their data centers, more or less server and storage after the need they have. So they don't over-consume how much power they have. So we choose the right amount of processors, graphic cards, the right amount of servers.
But do they talk about, like, take it back, like for 1993 or beginning of 2000? If you take DL380, one server, or 10 of them, will a new AI super duper server replace easily? So how many would they replace?
I mean, if you talk 1993, I don't know, but if we go back maybe 7-8 years, you can replace 20 or 30 servers.
So much
one.
better also.
Yeah, but I mean, this also takes some careful planning and expertise, which is what you're helping us at HPE, helping the customer with, because it's just not ripping and replacing. But it's interesting with the AI stuff and the power consumption. You know, I think it was like a Gen 9 server. That's maybe 10 years ago. It consumed maybe 200-300 watts. Take a guess, how much does a AI super server consume?
1,000?
Oh.
So a
1,000 is a lot.
1,000 is because a workstation do about 300-500 watts.
No, a AI server can easily consume 10,000 watts.
Oh my God.
Easily. And, you know, with the race that NVIDIA is leading today, you must say, every new GPU come out, they almost double that power consumption. So, and they come out with a new GPU. I mean, feels like every year, but maybe not, but it's very often. So the power consumption is actually going through the roof. So the cooling stuff when it comes to servers is a really important thing.
So then that is why we have all the super duper data storage in the northern of Sweden.
Yes, the colder climate definitely helps, but even then it's challenging actually. So today we look a lot at liquid cooling and how is that going to help. And there's a lot of environmental discussions around that, because then you still require a lot of power. Where is that coming from? You require a lot of water. Where is that coming from? I mean, in many parts of the world, water is a limited resource. So.
If we go back to the customers, Thomas, we talked about the trends and everything, but is there anything that you think of that the customers are asking for now, or that we need to put in our knowledge and help to other customers?
We pass this question over to Alexander. So explain what you have done around traditional server and combining storage with it.
Yeah, I mean, historically, you have had your storage system, which are separate boxes. You still have that today.
Yep.
I mean, it's still an important part. But when things become more complex, we want to make them simpler, easier. Easier to install, easier to manage, easier to consume. So then we have this concept of HCI. It actually stands for hyper-converged infrastructure. That is when you take all of these different systems and boxes and put them into one. So if you look at the server today, you can actually get quite a lot out of a single server, both in terms of like processing power. You have Intel and AMDs constantly pushing the barriers for how much performance you'll get out of that. But you can also put a lot of storage in one server today, because the actual drives that you store data on, they have become a lot smaller than they were in the past, and they're becoming quite a lot larger. Before, you had these really old ones that were spinning. I mean, that's in the past. Today, it's all flash. So what customers are looking for is these simple systems where you have everything integrated, you know everything is working, and then you have different options to achieve that. SimpliVity is one of them. It's our own IP, complete HPE solution. So just more or less plug in the power and the network, and off you go. And you can consume your VMs, put your application and data there, and everything works.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we collaborate with all different kind of software vendors. So if it's VMware, they have their HCI solution. Microsoft, they have their one, and Red Hat and Nutanix. There are a lot of different choices to make, and it's not always easy. I guess you at Atea, you must have quite a lot to think about, and many customers asking like, which one should we choose?
And I think many of our customers have old systems.
Yeah. So of course, legacy system it's a huge part of the data center, of course. But we see today there are so many options for the customer, everything from traditional servers to storage to HCI that we talked about now. We have from HPE your turnkey ready system, private cloud for business edition, for example. It's storage and service combined, just shipping out to the customer, pre-configured, and everything is done. Of course, we help them to start up the services and everything around that, but depends on size of customers, needs of customers, but our expertise together with HPE is, of course, to decide and help the customer guide them which solution suits your application best.
Yeah.
So we have consultants and architects that really work together with the customer for their demands.
I have a question that we maybe need to cut off later on. We'll see. But back in the days, all the old companies like I can't say the customer's name, unfortunately, but they had like this AS400 in the basement, and they would do some COBOL coding.
That's before my time.
That's before my time as well.
Okay,
but go on.
but have these old mega servers replaced with the new ones?
Not always, because many times when you run into these really old systems, they are connected to something, a machine or something, that just only works with that type of system. So you can't replace it with the new one. So that's one of the reasons why you still see those old systems out there.
And they're maybe too expensive to change. So when
because then you need to buy a new machine, you need to train your staff on that new machine, and you need to change your entire process. But of course, that is a security risk as well if it's connected.
And I have another question we may need to cut off later on also. But if you would, what would be your pro tip if you have like a customer who is building to set up a new office with like 250, 500 people? What would be your pro tip to recommend this IT department to think of? Not to choose just for hardware. What do you have a pro tip to think of this? The easiest one is, only choose HPE products, of course. But
you'll be happy.
What will you think of first? Is the most important your storage, or would it be processor powers, or
I would say look at not building yourself into any type of corner. There's easy to choose different routes today that leads to various effects of lock-in, where you get stuck with that system for a very long time, even though maybe it's not the most efficient for you. So look at where do I have flexibility? I mean, we talk about hybrid. Like, okay, of course, we like on-prem. That's our business. We think it's fantastic. It's secure. It's economical. But the best world is actually the one that is mixed. So look at what application can we and should we run in the cloud? What should be on-prem? And how can we manage that entire system or platform in one single pane of glass? And actually, that is one thing that we're doing with Morpheus, one of the acquisitions which we made a year ago. So that is a software that helps you to get visibility, both of your public cloud estate and what you have there and what you consume and how much does it cost. And as well, all of the on-prem stuff, not only HP, but every manufacturer, because you might have storage system from one manufacturer, servers from another, and you have a mixture of stuff. So look at things that are open and simple. Simple is a really
because it feels like
part.
a virtual system should be easier to change if you need to.
Definitely. I mean, virtualization, super, I mean, that's standard. But where we're going today is actually container. So, I mean, virtualization, it's been the norm. But today, more and more are looking at containers. So you could say it's similar to virtualization, but it's consuming less resources. It's slightly more efficient than virtualization.
It's really, really complex, but it's also very, very interesting. We mentioned the processor race before, Gen 12.
Yeah,
or where are we?
So the Proliant series, if you look at the classic DL380, that's the generation 12 at the moment. And of course, HP, they don't build processors or graphics cards. So they need to see what the big players are doing, Intel or AMD. From a processing side.
Because that's the two ones who is like the main.
Yes, that's the main one. So it's quite easy with HP because they have DL380. It's an Intel machine. And if you mention it 385, it's an AMD machine.
So if it's a 0 in the model name, it's Intel. If it ends with a 0. If it ends with a 5, it's AMD.
Indeed. Perfect.
Yeah, but you have one other standard as well. So a DL380 has always been 2U rack server. But nowadays, you can have it in 4Us.
Yes, you can have it 4Us. And that's going back to the AI. So we mentioned, like, if a server consumes 10,000 watts, you need to put in 10,000 watts. And you also need to cool the heat that is generating by that. So it's impossible
it's a big fan.
It's many big fans. So it's impossible to have this 2U form factor for these new AI workloads. I mean, you need to build bigger boxes. And they are going to increase in size. There's actually a lot of discussion in the market right now around the width of a server. So it's always been 19-inch. That is the standard
rack.
Standard rack in a data center. Now they're talking about 21-inch, 22-inch, because we have reached the limit of what you can put into that 19-inch form factor without like building very high servers. So they're going to become wider and deeper.
Okay, Thomas and Alexander, what do you think will happen within 5 years? If you have like a future... I would say future spawning, skulle jag säga, but that is Swedish, like a future perspective of things. What do you think will happen? Also, go nuts.
I mean, obviously things will increase in performance. I mean, AI will become the norm. It will become standard. I think there will have to be some kind of paradigm shift very soon in AI, because in the way it's growing, like you're just putting more and more servers in the data center, they're consuming more and more power, that's not sustainable. So there will have to be some kind of shift on how AI more efficient. So efficiency, I think it's going to play a big part. Like The data centers are going to have to rebuild the buildings to accommodate for liquid cooling. I mean, that's going to become standard in maybe 5, 6, 7 years. So efficiency, it's a big thing.
Big thing. Do you have any thoughts, Thomas?
Yeah, like Alexander mentioned before, hybrid is coming more and more. So you have cloud vendors, you have on-prem solutions, the combination of everything in one software that handles everything. So more and more customers are looking in that direction. We are not there yet, totally.
Yep.
But in the future, say 5 to 10 years, I think that all the customers today will be in a more or less hybrid environment, on-prem solution, co-hosted environment standing on another data center, some cloud. You have a mix of everything, I would say. And you have one system, one software that handles more or less everything.
Really complex.
It's complex, but it's doable.
Yeah, and then you need Atea.
It's going to be more complex for sure. I mean, complexity it's increasing.
This is really exciting, and I'm a little bit like you said, with the power consumption and everything. It's a really interesting stuff going on here, and we should do more. Maybe another chapter with the Morpheus.
Definitely. I mean,
Matrix, Morpheus stuff.
One of the big topics right now in our part of the industry is, of course, the Broadcom acquisition of VMware and how that is affecting companies' choice when it comes to virtualization strategy.
Okay.
So many are re-evaluating what is their strategy and what is it going to be in the future. So plus 90% of all companies have been using VMware in some form or some capacity.
So it's going to affect everybody.
Yeah, so everybody's going to have to rethink, are we staying on this path or are we going to change it in some way? And of course, like you mentioned with Morpheus, the acquisition there, we now offer our own virtualization platform, completely open source. So it's not only running on HP servers, although you should run it on HP servers. You could run it on any server and it's fully supported. And of course, that comes with a lower cost and in some aspects, easier operation as well. So
really interesting. Nice to have you here, Alexander.
Thank you.
And thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
We try to put in some more information in this Spotify and YouTube information, and we have this at our eShop page for HP. You can look up more information.
Definitely do that.
Yes. Thomas and Alexander, thank you very much for coming. It was really interesting. Hope to see you all soon. See you.
Thank you for listening to Atea eTalks. If you want to learn more about the solutions and insights discussed in this episode, visit Atea eShop or check the links in the episode description. We'll see you next time on Atea eTalks.